It is the best show in town. It is the best LGBTQIA show. So darling, why haven't you subscribed? Monday to Thursday, bringing you breaking news Wahala. On Friday, sex, education. And Saturday, burning questions. You know, all those questions you've been thinking of asking. Saturday is the day for you, darling. Ask your questions about religion, your questions about what you want to know about us, your question about anything. You can access anything on Saturdays doing burning questions. And you know one thing, you could to be the lucky winner to win our giveaways on Saturdays. And on Sundays, to crown it all, we have the market woman and shade price. So darling, why do you want to miss out on all these interesting things? Help this channel by clicking the subscribe button.
Welcome to a brand new episode of Breaking News Wahala. If it's not Breaking News Wahala, then tell us what it is. The biggest and best LGBTQI show in the entire planet. And my name remains Marvelous Achafukelechi. And I'm always joined by Chimeweze Aonaya in our Toronto studios in Canada. Welcome, Chimeweze. How are you doing today?
Thank you, Mr. Chafo. How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you very much. It's a brand new day, a brand new week, and a brand new episode of Breaking News Wahala. And today on Breaking News Wahala, we'll be discussing that very trending issue. The issue trended for a lot of days, but because I've not been available, we didn't touch on it. But now I am back, just like a phoenix that rises from the ash. And we're here to talk about this topic and do justice to it. Yes, for those of you who do not know, you know now. The topic about a guy that was in Nigeria here. He was dressing like a regular, like a regular dude, like how a man dresses, was dressing well, normal. And then he went abroad, and then he became a cross-dresser. That's just the word. He became a cross-dresser, and people are even saying trans, because from the text we saw from him and his mom, it shows that even he gets offended or maybe even has issues, quarrels with his mom. Anytime his mom refers to him as a he. So his mom went out showing the WhatsApp message, screenshotting and posting the WhatsApp message that she's begging her son that please, that he should come back to God, he should search his conscience, he should, as usual, find the light, he should come back, that God, at least he should remember his father in the grave, that what he's doing is wrong, what he's doing is unjust. But she has handed him over to the hands of God. And she said that only God can deliver him. He should just search his conscience and find out who he truly is. And then posted pictures of his son that is now a cross-dresser with lots of makeup, drag makeup. Even one of the pictures was smoking weed. Or some of the pictures, we see some of the heavy makeup that he had on. So it now brings on two issues now. The issue of parenting again. If you're the issue of parenting, parents in the lives of LGBTI community members, first of all, and also it brings up another issue of community members. How is there a limit to this, or just generally cross-dressing, thinking it into light? Should you think of your parents? It's just basically parenting and LGBTI community members. How best can these two merge together? Can they be unison? Can they both agree? We advise you guys to watch this entire episode to the end, because we'll be dropping a lot of bombs this episode, and we're going to spill it on this episode. Chimweze, let's go with you first. You had some. I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag. Just tell us, what is your take on this? For example, I think this comes closer to home for you. So tell us your take on this.
When it comes to LGBTQ and parenting, we need to realize that most of our parents are still in a different generation, in the sense that we don't like to accept or admit, or we try to say our parents are woke. But most of our parents are still back in so many centuries ago, and their mentality is not like more advanced or open like us now, who were schooled in the 21st century, and social media is helping to enlighten and open our society. Most of them are heavily indoctrinated in Christianity, and the truth about the Christianity they are indoctrinated in is a half-baked Christianity, in the sense that the church chooses what it wants to teach and remove the other facts it doesn't want to teach, which is what we see in our parents. And then, since our parents have been indoctrinated in a half gospel, they hold on to that half gospel and they use it as a blackmailing strategy or as a life philosophy of how everybody should live life by. The first thing I want our parents to understand, and parents of LGBTQ and queer members, is that not everybody is governed by the Bible. Most of us, even at that early stage, we already knew who we were. That is why we went closer to God. That is why we went closer to church prayers, deliverance, and conferences. Our parents need to understand that nobody can love us more than ourselves. Nobody can cherish our life and protect our life more than ourselves. We value life as much as you value your life. You can never be me, and I can never be you. I can never live your life, and you can never live my life. I think parents should understand that there is a limit to control. When we were younger, even the same Bible we hold on says, when I was younger, I think like a child. Now that I'm older, I act like a man. So parents should understand that if we, at a certain age, have grown up, has thought about these things, have had conversation, has seek different therapies and different help, and we've finally come to know who we are, they should understand that every decision we make is even inclusive with them in it and with respect to them. That is the first thing. The second thing is that being a cross-dresser is so different from every other, leaders in the LGBTQ community, which I would say, I've said this over again. And it is much easier for a parent to understand, okay, you're bisexual, or you're lesbian, or you're gay, than a cross-dresser or a transgender. One, our parents have seen us as a boy. And by the way, I'm not a cross-dresser or transgender. But your parents have seen you as a boy and you're transitioning. It is very difficult for them emotionally, knowing that they had a boy child and now what they see is a girl. So it's going to take them a gradual process for them to be able to accept you. I feel we should not go about, this trolling, arguing with our parents. Separate a while. That is the truth. Separate for a while. Talk to them as much as you can talk to them in respective of your mental health. And after you've had that conversation and you've given them those lectures, you've had this conversation, you've given them the time to heal and accept you, then you can go back to them. Because what will happen is if you go back to them at that time when they're angry and they're sad, it becomes a thorn in their flesh and it begins to affect them too mentally. So I think we need to all understand that both us and both our parents, we need that healing space to talk about our transitioning, to talk about our sexuality, and help them as much as you can. But never deny or compromise yourself, even to please your parents. Remember that you are who you are because you are beautiful and wonderfully made by God. That's it for me. Over to you, Mr. Chaffo.
I'm not going to I'm not going to preach long, or I will be as plain as possible. Chimeze gives some fantastic points. But to me, I'm going to say it the truth as it is. People know me on the show to be as blunt as possible. First of all, whether we like it or not, we are our parents are the vessel in which we came into this world, but we are not their inheritance. They are just a vessel in which we came into this world. That doesn't make us their inheritance. That means we are not theirs to make decisions for. We do not come into this world to please them because you say, oh, my dad is a lawyer. I
They are
too go
not
and
any
study law.
gods.
Yeah, because my parent is a lawyer. I want to read law too and impress my parents and make my parents proud. Or because my dad is a pilot, I want to become a pilot too to make him proud. Or trying to follow in you say following my father's footsteps or following the family footsteps, following the family way, which I find to be very foolish. If that is your calling, that should be your calling, but not because you want to be in the family, not because you want to be. You can be a footballer and come from a family of where your mother, even her mother and father is engineers, and you still be a footballer. And even if they have a company, you can still get competent hands to manage that company, but still be a footballer, whereby you can oversee the company if that's what your parents want for you. Not the fact that they now want to put you in that same line and make you that you must follow everything that they do, hook, line, and sinker. That is that. But let me now bring it out to the issue of sexuality. So whether we like it or not, it is not easy for anybody to, if we were to flip the coins around, it's not going to be easy for us to be able to, it's not as easy as it seems to be able to swallow when your child is an LGBTI community member. It's not easy. It's not, so sometimes I try to be considerate a bit. It's not going to be easy. Now, first of all, what people need is they need a lot of parenting education. I think it's time that we now start putting maybe sexual orientation in parenting syllabus, where they are now maybe they need to start hiding it in what's the name of in movies and this thing. Maybe parents need to see it more so that they prepare their minds up. It's happening in the Western world. But in Nigeria, there's nothing like that. In most African countries, they even frown against it. Even when people try to even make movies about it, they will even ban it. Say that, oh, it's not worthy to be shown in the cinemas. They need to stop. There needs to be a way where parents get to see that this thing is normal. So they prepare their mind, they prep up their mind that, okay, oh, in case it comes to my door, how will I react to it? And two, again, coming to the issues of community member, I saw that guy, the pictures of that guy. And I'm sorry to say, people might call me, people might bash me for this, but I would say, if that's who he is, that is who he is. But I think I find him better when he was a man. Now, sometimes I tell people that not everything we see and want to do actually fits us. Sexual orientation is valid, but being a cross-dresser, it's valid, but sometimes can just be influenced by the kind of circles that you are in. Because you're in a circle of cross-dressers, before you know, or drag queens, before you know, you start to get your own drag, before you know, you get into the character and you become a drag, when that is not who you really are. Because I saw it and I was just like, honestly, it didn't look good on me. That is just my own opinion. There are some things you do and it doesn't just look good on you. Sexual orientation is valid. You can have a sexual orientation, and it's very, very valid. But there's just some extra things that people are these days, and you just see them and you just be like, even community members too would even laugh at you and feel like, this thing you are doing doesn't actually look good on you, doesn't actually fit you, or what are you trying to do it for? Who are you trying to impress? I think when I saw that, and that's just what I felt. To me, just being honest, that is what I saw. That is what I felt in me. But to be honest, just the bottom line of it is that on the issue of parenting and LGBTI community members, I think you've said a lot of key points about it. Parents should understand that they are the vessels in which we came into this world with, but we are not their inheritance. We are not theirs to keep. We do not control our lives. We do not control what we decide to do with our lives. But I also advise people that in as much as we are individuals and we can make our choices, when we make choices, let's look at if it actually has a positive impact or a negative impact on us. If it projects us better, or it just demeans us and makes us feel like this person is just an outcast, or is just overdoing it, or probably just confused, or probably just decides to just look weird. Because some people just they say, oh, they just want to look weird, they want to break from the norms, or don't want to be part of the norms, or this and that, just put different things, and it doesn't just work for them. Chime, is there anything you'd like to say finally before we call it a wrap this episode?
Just finally, I just want to say, for those who are cross-dressers and transgenders, I heard everything you say, but I kind of not really agree. I feel like some people just have this the normal word Nigerians would say is inside another body. I feel some people feel, okay, this is the way I express myself, this is the way I see myself. And you don't have to be beautiful to look like that, but if that is their form of expression, that is the way they want to be addressed and they want to present themselves, it should be respected. Because before anybody thinks of even becoming a cross-dresser or a transgender, I don't think nobody can influence feelings. You can never fake feelings, you can never fake expressions. It's just the same way maybe homophobes will come and say, okay, that's the same thing you're saying, it goes around. What about if what you're doing is influenced by the people around you? That is why you're queer, that is why you're gay, that's why you're bisexual. So I feel we should be very careful in terminology when we say, okay, they are being influenced. I don't think nobody is being influenced, because
this dressing is different from feelings, to be honest. The kind of culture you are
no,
born in
that is
influences
what
your
I said.
dressing.
That is why I said
That's why
feelings.
each culture, I just wanted to break that. I know you continue, just so I just wanted to break it down. Dressing, it's another different angle. To me, I do not, that's something, my opinions, but your opinions too. But I'm saying dressing is a different angle. That's why each culture has dressing. It's Yoruba dressing, it's an Igbo dressing, it's an Indian dressing. If an Indian man walks into a room, oh, you know this is an Indian man. If a Yoruba man walks into a room, you say this is a Yoruba man. If a Kenyan man walks into a room, you say, can you recognize the Kenyan dressing? Even Ghana, I recognize Ghana's dressing because of even the president has dressed in public attires. So dressing is even influenced by culture, influenced by community, influenced by society. That's why sometimes you can recognize people from where they are, the country, their country of origin, because of the way they dress. Unlike sexual orientation, where a Japanese man, an Indian man, a Ghana man can walk into a room and you cannot tell their sexual orientations apart, but you can tell their dressings apart. Like, oh, this is a Japanese man, this is a Ghana man, this is a Nigerian man, this is a Yoruba man, this is an Igbo man. It's much more complex than when it's a sexuality. The sexuality thing is more of the inside thing, the way you actually feel. Unlike the dressing thing, where dressing can actually be influenced in the kind of society you find yourself, or the kind of, it's much more easier to influence than feelings, sexual orientation. Sexual orientation is like
that is
on the high.
That is what I
dressing
say.
can just be spent around.
That's why I say the dressing could be based on feelings and expression of oneself. It's different for you to dress as a male in different attire of something that is a culture. But when somebody decides to dress as a next gender, it's a form of expression, which is gender fluidity. That is why I say they have thought about it. They have come to know that that is how they want to be addressed. That is the closest thing to the body they feel they should be inside. Secondly, there is a biological DNA in hormones, male hormones and female hormones. There are some also who have male genitals. That's why we have intersex. There are some intersex people, you see the female hormone is more than the male hormone. They are biological factors when people decide to cross-dress and transgender. And it has been scientifically proven that even cross-dressers have a different way of how their brain project and how their brains relate to them.
With the wonderful Laverne Cox rising to fame and Bruce Jenner's groundbreaking interview, transgender issues are finally making it mainstream.
So naturally, we're going to science this up.
Hi everyone, Julia and Julian here for D News. Transgender means a person identifies as a gender other than what they were assigned at birth.
Cisgender, on the other hand, are those who identify as the same gender they were assigned at birth. Unfortunately, being trans is a much more difficult path than being cis.
Transgender individuals face a world filled with violence, erasure, and ignorance, but by being true to themselves, they open up a road for so many others to follow. Still, why would anyone purposefully subject themselves to a life of difficulty? Well, it's not a choice, it's who they are, and science can back that up.
One study published in the Journal of Neuroscience identified networks in the brain associated with gender. Using diffusion-based magnetic resonance tomography imaging, the researchers looked at the brains of people who are transgender as well as female and male controls.
They found microstructures or connections to the brain that differed significantly between the male and female subjects. However, the networks in the brains of those who identified as transgender seemed to take up a middle position.
The researchers also found a link between these networks and the amount of testosterone in the bloodstream, suggesting that sex hormones affect how these structures form in the brain, which is supported by earlier research.
Right. Some regions of the brain show difference based on gender. In one study published in the Journal of Psychiatric Research, scientists used MRI techniques to scan the brains of 18 people who were assigned female but identify as male, and 24 male and 19 female heterosexual controls. The researchers found that the white matter of female to male individuals who received no hormone therapy more closely resembled brains of the male subjects than the female subjects.
Another study by that same research group, also published in the Journal of Psychiatric Research, focused on those who were assigned male at birth but identified female. The researchers used similar techniques as the other study and found that their white matter microstructures fell between the measurements of male and female subjects. One of the authors of the study concluded, their brains are not completely masculinized and not completely feminized, but they still feel female.
And if it's a matter of brain wiring, a lot of kids would know early, and they do. In one study published in the Graduate Journal of Social Science found that 76% of participants knew they were transgender before they left elementary school.
A small study published in the journal Psychological Science found that kids as young as 5 who identify as trans showed a consistency in gender identity across various measures. I actually saw Laverne Cox speak at an event at Rutgers, and she said exactly the same thing. The researchers asked 32 transgender kids aged 5 to 12 questions about gender and under the implicit association test to see how kids identify with various things. Using the IAT, the researchers could see how quickly the kids associated gender with the concepts of me and not me. It's a fast test, so they don't have a lot of time to think about it, they just respond.
The researchers found that the kids' responses were indistinguishable from their cisgendered peers. The transgender girls responded the same as cisgender girls, and the transgender boys responded just like the cisgender boys. The researchers concluded that their study provided clear evidence to support that transgender children are not confused, delayed, pretending, or oppositional. They instead show responses entirely typical and expected for children with their gender identity.
We know that gender is a complex and varied issue. Even Facebook recognized that reality. To learn more about that, check out this video right here.
Been a research examining most cross-dressers and transgender people, stating the fact that they have a different brain and they have a different hormone on how their brain and their hormones function. But regardless of that, I feel if it brings happiness to them, if it brings a way of them expressing themselves, if that's their coping mechanism of going through this world is very hard. Stress is very hard. If that is a coping mechanism, I think we should allow people to express themselves. That is what we're fighting for. Express themselves, be free to express themselves, as long as their form of expression is not harming or hurting the next person. And finally, last word for me, everything on social media is not the way it looks. Our parents should stop taking social media as our life. Social media is not our life. First and foremost, on social media, for example, I could wear earrings. In my personal life, if you come here on a daily or if you look at me, I don't wear earrings. You're getting? So there is a social media presence and there is a personal life. Maybe on social media, I like to, talk a lot. In my private life doesn't mean I want to associate with people a lot. So our parents need to understand that social media is a form of expression, not our real identity. The way you see me on social media is not the way I am in real life. So I feel our parents need to relax, take a chill pill, and have this conversation. Day in, day out conversation is still the key. Thank you, Mr. Jeffo. Over to you.
Thank you very much for that wonderful ending. I couldn't have said it all. I think you brought a new angle to it. Social media is not really real life. You can be a drag on social media, and in real life, you are as manly as Arnold Schwarzenegger. Because we see a lot of people even who come to RuPaul Drag Race, Canada Drag Race, Israel Drag Race, many of these drag races that they put on drags, they spin around, but when you see them in real life, they are very macho, they are looking very masculine, and you cannot even tell them. You will even be surprised that, oh my God, even there was a straight person I was telling that he was surprised. I saw some of them, that even they were much more masculine than they could ever be. Despite the fact that they were saying, what kind of rubbish is this? What kind of humor? But when they showed them as a man and showed them in their drag attire, it was really, really different. So this could just be the case of someone who is just trying to have his fun social media, maybe just social media, just having a drag life. Even people like BC Alimi too. I think he's BC Alimi when he's in the masculine state, and I think he's Miss Poshy or Miss Posh. I can't remember the name again. When he's in his feminine state, when he has another page for that, where he posts his drag photo. So it could be like that too. There are many other instances like that. So that could just be the case. I think we've basically said everything on and not to make the episode longer than usual. So guys, please don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Always subscribe, always share videos, always comment, like, please, and you know now we are back with full force. So we're basically going to be on your screen, basically almost Monday to Friday, basically. Sorry, Monday to Sunday. So I'll be Sunday to Saturday or Monday to Saturday.
Comment. Don't forget to comment. I love to read your comment, to be honest. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to follow us on our personal social media accounts too.
Yeah. Thank you very much for that, music. So till next episode, see you guys later. Peace out.
It is the best show in town. It is the best LGBTQI show. So darling, why haven't you subscribed? Monday to Thursday, bringing you breaking news Wahala. On Friday, sex, education. And Saturday, burning questions. You know, all those questions you've been thinking of asking. Saturday is the day for you, darling. Ask your questions about religion, your questions about what you want to know about us, your question about anything. You can access anything on Saturdays doing burning questions. And you know one thing, you could be the lucky winner to win our giveaways on Saturdays. And on Sundays, to crown it all, we have the market women and shade price. So darling, Why do you want to miss out on all these interesting things? Help this channel by clicking the subscribe button.